Survivor's ready. Go!
652 episodes.
Wow, that is crazy to hear.
Season 45.
I know.
Did you think that this show would have this kind of run, these kind of legs?
Who could have ever?
Actually, Jeff, you. This is a clip I have for you from your first interview with ET.
Oh my God.
I pleaded to get this job. I worked very hard to get this job. I really wanted it because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I wanted the show the second I heard about it. I did everything to try to get it, including I created this message in a bottle, and it had all these stories about how successful Survivor was going to be, and it was going to run for decades. It was going to change television, and everybody said it was due in some small part to the likable but unknown host, Jeff Probst. What's funny is, looking back on that, it did kind of change television. It is still on.
Yeah.
I don't know about the part about the likable host being credited.
Oh, come on. I think
got
your
the
4
job.
Emmys say, yeah. 4 Emmys are saying you're doing something right, without a doubt.
When I'm sitting across the tribal council from 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people, and I'm holding up a little sign that has somebody's name on it, and I'm looking at their reaction, that's a real person. That's a real person who somebody sitting next to them just said, I don't want you around anymore. That is a true moment.
I always say to the players before we start the game, I say, just know that when I'm snuffing your torch, I feel your pain. I know it's the end of your dream.
Right.
But the only reason this dream has stakes is because people get voted out. So when you survive and you last, you've earned it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm feeling is every time I'm holding up the vote and I know it's the end, and you look across and usually the player is shocked because they've been blindsided.
Right.
And then they come over and you snuff their torch. I have simultaneous feelings of empathy.
Right.
But also, this is why it's so fun, because they got you.
Yeah.
I don't know how I've changed yet, because I think that takes reflection. But I can tell you that in a small way, being in the middle of a rainforest, in a jungle, has made me aware that I'm in somebody else's house right now. That's a huge perspective change for me, that I am not the center of my own universe, that this world was going along just fine. They have rats here that are as cute as mice.
I don't know what that means.
You know, they're running around going, who are all these people? You know, where'd you come from? You just take that small little revelation.
Clearly at this point, I'd been out in the jungle for a few days.
You had.
That one I would like a redo, because I would maybe back off a little of the,
Rats.
I was clearly feeling it. But I do remember that feeling, and that was genuine, which is, I mean, I grew up in Kansas, I moved to Seattle, I lived here in New York, but I hadn't really lived like that. And it did give me a perspective shift of, dude, you're just one person, chill.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of people also trying to figure life out.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest perspective shift. And then watching humans go through this, I have a lot more grace for people. I hold space for people much more than I would have before this show, because I realize we're all trying, most of us, to figure it out, including me.
What do you remember about season 1?
I remember trekking through the jungle because we had a really small crew, and everybody carried a tripod or a camera or a bag of gear or something, and we knew we were creating something. We just didn't know exactly what it was going to be.
Wow.
But it was one of those moments in your career when you realize, I don't know if I'll ever do anything like this again, but I'm going to savor every moment while I'm out here. And I'm still savoring the moments 23 years later. People always kind of tilt their head when they see my enthusiasm for Survivor, as though something must be wrong with me. Nobody could still be this into it, but I am. Because it's the same thing for me. It's a group of people trying to figure it out. And I love people, and the game design of Survivor forces you into these situations to see what you're made of. And it's amazing what people are capable of if they just say yes and give it a shot.
How many applicants do you feel like you get typically each season?
It's tens of thousands.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot. And we have a very elaborate casting process. We get tens of thousands of people apply, and our team whittles it down to really just, maybe a couple of hundred people that we look at each year. And then we whittle that down to 18 for each season.
What changes might we see coming into this season?
The biggest
subtle
change,
changes.
the biggest change for Survivor 45 is that we have 90-minute episodes. which is half again as much show. And if you're a Survivor fan, I think you're gonna love it because there's so much more that happens that we can't always show because of the limits of an hour.
Right.
And so now we'll get to, and then that allows you to do more fun things on the show. So you're gonna see things this season that we couldn't do in a normal 60-minute episode. I think Survivor fans are really gonna dig it.
There are so many celebrity super fans out there. What celebrity has gushed over the show that just had you completely floored?
Well, you know what's cool about celebrity fans?
What's this?
Really, it's, of course, that they're a celebrity is fun, but most people who are famous and successful are so because they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
So when somebody like Jack Harlow, who's so successful in his life, is also into your show, or Jack Black, or Tom Holland, you know, or Sia. I mean, to me, it's more a reflection of the show and that they like the show and that the stories that we're telling and the fact that they're really good in their career and they're famous does add some fun to it.
Who would have thought singer-songwriter Sia was
Right.
a mad fan, and so much so that she has been giving cash prizes to some of her favorite contestants. How just amazed are you by her generosity?
Well,
and how did the
that's-
Sia Award begin?
The Sia Award began randomly in the middle of a live finale where we were on live television, just announced a winner, and Sia was there as our guest, as our friend, just hanging out. And then the next thing I know, I hear a voice saying, Jeff.
Okay, they see something in you. Oh my gosh.
Hi, I'm Sia.
Wait, Sia, come up. You don't have a mic.
I want to donate $50,000 to you. Wow. And I want to donate $50,000 to your choice of animal charity.
She basically declares, listen, I want to give some money to this player because their story really moved me. And that began the Sia Award, which to date, she's given over $900,000. She could hit $1 million this season.
Well, she probably will.
And it's all from pure love. There's no gimmick behind it. And I asked her one day in my dressing room, she had her leg flipped up over the chair, and I said, Sia, why do you do this? You're giving your money. She goes, I've been really lucky in life, Jeff, really lucky. And I want to share some of my wealth with things that make me happy. And Survivor's one of the things that makes me happy, and it's the people on the show. So I like giving money.
It's Sia.
Oh my God!
I wanted to tell you that you're awesome, and I really felt the struggle for you and your kids and stuff. I wanted to give you not the biggest prize, but I wanted to give you 15 grand just to say I love you and keep going.
It's Sia connecting to a human story.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you win or lose. She doesn't care about that.
Right.
She just learns about you because Survivor's a pretty immersive experience. And suddenly she's going, oh, and you really care about animals, or oh, you're a single mom and you've been struggling. You know, it could be any reason. And it brings her so much joy. Here's the best part about Sia though, is the finale will end on a Wednesday night, and Thursday morning at 5:30 a.m., she's texting going, I'm ready. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm ready to give money. I'm like, oh my God, Sia's ready to give money. Well, who's you gonna give it to? Here's a list of players, let's get them on the phone. It's really fun, exciting.
It's like Powerball.
Exactly.
If you were ever to retire from this show, which we obviously never want to see that day, do you have in mind a successor?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because you ain't going anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't want to leave Survivor, but when you ask me about a successor, it makes me excited that the show could last so long that they would come to me and say, we love you, but you know, you're on a walker now and it's just not, it doesn't look quite right.
Because that's the only way you're going. You know?
But in that case, how fun that someone else would get to do this, because I'm telling you, it is the greatest job. You are watching this thing play out in real time in front of you. It's essentially a live show, but it's about people trying to take this thing on. So yeah, I welcome the day that there is a successor. I'd just like to put a pause on that just for the moment.
Maybe season 80.
Okay, season 80, that's 21 years. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then I'm that guy. But I'd still probably be fighting to go, I can raise my arm.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.